It was morning on the island of Sodor. The engines were waking up at Tidmouth sheds, getting ready for work for the day. Sir Topham Hatt drove up to the sheds in his car. He got out to tell everyone their jobs. "Thomas," he said, "I'd like for you to help out at the quarry." "Yes, sir," he said, and he puffed off. "Gordon, go pull the express as usual." "Right away," Gordon said. "I'd like you to go take some coal to the electric plant, Henry." "Okay," Henry said. "And James, I'd like you to pull the garbage train today." "Oh man, fine," said James. "What about me, sir?" asked Edward. "Well, Edward," said Sir Topham Hatt, "I've been thinking lately, and wondered, when was the last time Edward had a break? So today, you have the day off." "A day off?" Edward asked. "What do I do?" "Well, anything you want, really," said Sir Topham Hatt as he walked away. "You could go for a run, stay in the shed, pretty much anything but work." And he got into his car and drove away. Edward had no idea what to do. He hadn't had a day off in years. "I know," said Edward. "I'll go play with the trucks in the yard." And he went off to do just that. When he got there, he saw Percy shunting. "Hello, Percy," he said. "Hey, Edward, I heard you have the day off." "Indeed I do. I thought I'd come here and spend it pushing the trucks around." "Hold on there, pal," said Percy. "That would be shunting, and that's work. You can't be working on your day off." "Well, what else am I supposed to do?" Edward asked. "How about this?" Percy replied. "I'm going to help you make this your best day off ever." "I suppose that could help. Thank you, Percy." "No problem, Edward. So, what do you like to do in your free time?" "Well, all I really do is work all the time, so I don't really know," said Edward. "Okay, then. That's no problem at all," Percy replied. "That just means that we have to experiment a little. Let's go to some different places on the railway, and we'll see which one you like best." They decided to start at Gordon's Hill. "Let's try racing," said Percy. "I bet I can beat you to the top of the hill." "Oh, you're on," said Edward. Percy did the countdown. Ready, set, go. It was a close race, but Edward ended up on top. "Wow, Edward," said Percy. "You're fast." "Well, that's what pushing trains up hills all these years does to you," replied Edward. Just then, Percy had an idea. "I know what we could do next," he said. They snuck into the old part of the quarry, where a boulder had crashed into the shed. "Here," said Percy, "is where I almost got killed by a boulder that was in a perfect spherical shape." "That's cool," said Edward. "I haven't been back here since this shed was functional." "You know," said Percy, "it's kind of your fault that it happened. You're the one who brought Thumper to mine in the cliffs." "It was my job to," said Edward. "I didn't want to disobey orders." They started to argue, and they got pretty loud when they started to hear a rumbling noise coming from the cliffs nearby. "We should probably get out of here," said Edward. "Good idea," replied Percy. And the two decided to head to the docks next. When they got there, they saw James puffing by with the garbage train. "Ha ha," laughed Percy. "You smell." "Don't you have work to do instead of goofing off right now?" asked James as he left the docks. "Uh-oh," said Percy. "I do." "I can do it for you," said Edward. "I'm good at doing jobs quickly when there's a tight deadline." Percy knew that Edward wasn't supposed to do work today, but he had no choice. "That would be great," he said. "Can you take the mail for me, please?" "Of course I can," said Edward, and he set off. "Well, I guess I could go and relax," said Percy to himself, and he headed to Tidmouth sheds. Meanwhile, Sir Topham Hatt was driving on the road that ran next to the main line. "I wonder how Edward's enjoying his day off," he thought to himself. Suddenly, he saw Edward puff by with the mail train. "Wait, that's Percy's job," he said, and he decided to go look for Percy. It didn't take him long to find him. The first place he checked was Tidmouth sheds. "Percy," he shouted, Why is Edward doing your work on his day off? But sir, he offered to do it, and I decided to be a good sport and let him. You should know that an engine shouldn't be working on their day off. Just then, Edward came back from taking the mail. Edward, said Sir Topham Hatt, did you offer to take the mail for Percy? Yes, sir, I did. But why? Because he spent the day showing me the stuff I could do on my day off instead of doing his work, so I decided to help him out. Sir Topham Hatt turned to Percy. You did what? He said furiously. That's it. I planned for James to take the garbage train the whole week, but I think now it's a job more suitable for you. You start tomorrow. Oh, bother. The next day, Percy took the garbage train as planned. James was at a station when Percy puffed by. Ha ha, he laughed. You smell. I guess I deserved that, Percy said to himself. Both Percy and Edward learned valuable lessons from this experience. Percy learned not to get sidetracked when doing work. And Edward learned what not to do on his day off.